I'm going to show you 3 formulas in Excel that every future actuary needs to know. And then afterwards, you can practice those formulas with me to see if you actually know how to use them. As someone who has worked in actuarial roles for over 6 years and has helped hundreds as an actuarial coach, I know these are formulas that you are 100% going to use on the job. And by the way, 99% of actuarial roles use Excel, so this is not something that you can ignore. Let's go. Okay, so first I'm going to show you the formula upper. So let's start with this lowercase word. We can use the formula upper in order to capitalize any text that we have in Excel. So I'm going to input this value of January, and with the upper formula, when I press enter, we're going to get the capitalized version of January. And this can work whether we have some capitals already in it, like maybe this. I can do upper. And likewise, it formats it all in capital letters. We can also do lower. That's a bonus for you. All in lowercase letters. Next, I'm going to show you the mid function. So equals mid, and then you can select any text. Let's do this January. And then you can tell it the start number or the character that you want it to start with. So we'll have it start with the first character and then give us the next 3 digits or the next 3 characters. So when I input that, it should give me JAN, and it does. Likewise, I could do equals mid. I could have it start at the 3rd character. So 3rd, and then give me 4 characters after. So this should start at the N because that's the 3rd character, and then it should give me NUAR because that's 4 characters. The next one I'm going to show you is an if formula. So let me just put the word upper here. Now the if formula works like this. So equals if. So if this value here equals upper, which it does right now, so that statement is true, we're going to have it give us the uppercase version of January. If it doesn't say upper, then we're going to have it give us the lowercase version of January, like this. Right now, since E17 does say upper, that blue one there, it should give us the value in C11, which is capitalized January. It does. Now, what's cool about Excel is the minute that I change this, let's say I change it to lower, it automatically recalculates the value here because now E17 does not equal the value upper. So it's giving me the other option for the if statement, which was the lowercase version of January. Likewise, let's turn this back to upper. We see it goes back to the capitalized version, but whenever I change this to something other than upper, it is going to give me the other option. So let's change it to dog, for example. Since E17 is not equal to upper, it gives me the lowercase version of January. So that's an if statement. Lastly, I wanted to give you a bonus here, which is and. So we can actually combine 2 cells together. So if I do equals this and this, we should get January dog, and we do. We could also go equals dog and January and Jan. So we could do this for 3 and it would come out exactly like you would expect. And even if we change this dog to cat, automatically it changes the values in those cells. Now, let's suppose you're an actuarial analyst and you've just been given a whole bunch of data to prep for entering into an actuarial model. But it looks like this. There are inconsistent formattings, some data is missing, it's just really messy.
If you're thinking, surely data this messy doesn't exist in real companies, boy, are you in for a surprise.
You need to create a tool that automatically takes this data and cleans it. So I'm wondering, Do you know how you would do that? Despite knowing these formulas, a lot of future actuaries would feel completely stuck on where to even start. And that's the problem. Sometimes you don't know where to start. Maybe you don't know what data cleaning is. Now, we are going to solve that problem together. I'll show you the exact steps on how to use the formulas that I showed you to solve that problem. But first, I really want to make clear a point that most future actuaries don't realize. You can take a whole bunch of Excel courses. You can get an Excel certificate. You can learn a whole bunch of formulas on YouTube, but that does not mean that you know Excel well enough to perform well on the job or even get a job. What actually makes you a great candidate in terms of your Excel experience is actually being able to take an idea and create a tool from scratch. So it's really combining all the different functionalities and formulas that Excel can do in order to create something valuable. And that's hard when you just have a whole bunch of formulas floating around in your head. But honestly, that is the level of ability you need to have in order to be a great candidate for an actuarial job. That proves that you can perform well on the job. So that's why doing Excel projects is something that's really important to prove your candidacy for actuarial roles. And not only do you do the projects, but you can actually add them to your resume. You can talk about them during interviews, and you can sometimes even show them on the screen while you're doing virtual interviews, or maybe even bring your laptop to a live interview, an in-person interview, and show them. This is stuff that actually members of our AAC, our Actuary Accelerator community, have done over and over again, is shown their projects, and employers love it. Ryan is actually a really good example of this. He got an actuarial job recently. He was a prior AAC member, and he got a job on a model consolidation team. He used one of his projects from our Excel Ninja Challenge in the AAC. It was an IBNR project. An IBNR reserve project, and he was able to show that and really demonstrate the skills that he had. I'll link to his success video right here and down below in the description if you want to watch it after. By the way, if you found this video helpful so far, could you please give it a thumbs up, because now we are going to get into actually solving this problem. The data that you need is down below in the description, so you can go get it. Okay, so first I'm adding a new tab here where we're going to put the clean data. So I'm going to copy over the headings. Oh, and you can double click on the column edges to increase the width of them to the appropriate level. Now I'm going to just copy over the policy IDs. So I just use an equal sign for that and pull the formula down to copy it from all the cells on the other tab. Now for column B, let's just go with a capitalized version of the name for consistency. We'll use that upper formula that you learned. Now I'll copy it down all the way to the bottom. I just double clicked there in order to pull the formula down automatically. Okay, so now let's work with the territory columns. Some of them are actually blank, but we don't want that. We want to have the word unknown wherever there's a blank value, because those values are not known and it'll help it stand out to anyone using the data. So let's use that if statement in order to pull over the data that we need. But if the data is blank, then we're just gonna put in the words unknown in order to make those blank ones really stand out. Now for construction type. The one thing to be aware of here is that there's one that says brick. That should actually be using the word masonry, because that's the same thing. However, for the data, we need everything to be consistent. We only want 3 values there. So we don't want it to say brick, we want it to say masonry. So we're just gonna first capitalize everything. We'll pull that formula down, and now we'll deal with that brick. What we can do here is we can use another if statement. So basically, if the value is equal to brick, then we're gonna change it to be masonry, just like this. If it's not equal to brick, then we're just gonna use the same formula that we used before, that upper formula. Now, when we pull this formula down, the brick changes to masonry, just like we expected. Now for coverage, these values are really messy, but when you just copy them over using the equal formula, it formats them just how we want. However, there are some that are 0. Let's just put those as unknown again, because there always needs to be a coverage amount. So we'll use another if statement just like we did previously. So if the value is 0, we're just going to put unknown. If it's not 0, then we're just going to pull over the exact value that is on the other tab, sheet 1 tab. All right, now those are working fine. We've got the effective date now. This one, really the difference here is some of them use dashes and some of them use slashes. Let's just keep the formatting consistent and use dashes for everything. So for this, we're actually going to use the mid formula because we want to grab the first 2 numbers. We want them to then put a dash, and then the next 2 numbers, and then put a dash, and then the last 4 numbers, and then put a dash. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically using the mid formula to get the first 2 values of the formula, the date, and then I'm putting a dash, and then I'm getting the mid formula to get the middle 2 values from the date, and then putting another dash, and then I'm using the mid formula to get the last 4 digits of the date, and then that will be our formatted date. Just like that. When we pull it down, we're going to see that they all have dashes now. Lastly, let's look at the smoke detector, yes or no. All houses need to have a smoke detector, so I'm not sure this should just be yes for everything, but some of them say no. Anyway, let's use that mid formula, and we'll just determine if the first value is a Y. If the first value of the cell is a Y, then we're just going to have that as yes. If it's not, then we're going to have it as no. However, some of them are blank, so we still need to use that if formula to input the unknowns. So first we're just going to deal with the yes or no's. We'll pull that formula down. What you're going to notice is some of them are blank, but they still are saying no, and that's because the first value in that cell is not a Y. So our if statement was only looking for a Y, and because it wasn't a Y, it just automatically set it to no. But now we'll adjust that to account for if it's blank, we're going to use the words unknown. Otherwise, we're going to use the same formula as we had before, the yes, no. So we'll pull that down, and we see the unknowns, just as expected. Now, this was all done really fast, but when I talk more about the Excel Ninja Challenge coming up, we go through this in so much more detail and at a much slower pace, so you can really understand what's going on. Now, this was just a short lesson in data cleaning, and we used a few simple formulas. However, now we have data that could actually be used for actuarial rate making, for example.
Because an actuary's actual job is to price risk, not fix numbers. Mostly. Well, okay. We actually do spend a lot of time fixing numbers too.
But we are not going to be doing that here. That is something coming up in our Excel Ninja Challenge. This is our first ever rate-making Excel Ninja Challenge, so I'm really excited about it. Quick side note, in the same survey that I referenced earlier, the Global Actuary of the Future study, they found that 65% of future actuaries knew that learning Excel was really important in order to get a job, but 65% of them spent 0 hours per week actually progressing in it. That needs to change if you want to actually get a job. And the Excel Ninja Challenge is a great way to do that and stay consistent. So the challenge is 12 weeks long. There are 13 courses to go through that teach you from beginner all the way to advanced Excel. And we even go into some VBA programming, which, by the way, is used in GGY Axis, a very common actuarial modeling software. This is a challenge that is guided but allows you lots of flexibility to go at the pace that you can right now. There are 2 projects and an Excel Ninja certificate at the end if you complete it. This is a great project that you can add to your resume. You can talk about it during interviews and maybe even show the interviewer, just like Ryan did that I mentioned earlier. For Pi Week only, you can register for the Excel Ninja Challenge just by signing up for our Excel Ninja course, or you can join as a member of the Actuary Accelerator community. I will leave the details all about it in the description down below so you can decide what works best for you. I hope to see you in there. This is a great way to strengthen your Excel skills and get them up to the level they really need to be to get your first actuarial job. Bye for now.